Omni-Man versus Bardock, the dads of Invincible and Goku. Two powerful, highly trained, planet-conquering warriors are going at it. But in this fight, well, who's ultimately going to be coming out on top here? And really, is this fight even close? Let's get into it. Now, for this video, we're going to be kinda using a composite version of Omni-Man, taking the comics, what we've seen from the TV show, and mashing them into one. So all feats apply to figure out just how powerful Nolan is. Just not his feats from Mortal Kombat, of course. And because of that, spoilers ahead from the comics for what lies ahead for the TV show. Now, Omni-Man is a Viltrumite, and we're the largest and most powerful empire throughout the galaxy. And why are the Viltrumites so powerful? Well, it's because they have access to smart atoms, molecularly the same as normal atoms, but they give access to all sorts of powers on the atomic level. And Viltrumites are unique because they can use smart atoms for a whole lot of different powers: super strength, super speed, flight, and they're the only race in the universe to have smart atoms literally encoded inside their DNA. That's what makes them so powerful. And just how powerful are they? Well, with super strength, Nolan Grayson is one of the best. In his fight against Invincible, well, Omni-Man was punching Mark so hard that he was shaking entire mountains, and doing this repeatedly. In fact, Omni-Man was sending Mark flying all over the planet, causing earthquakes each time that he landed. That was against his own son. He was holding back there. Time and time again, he was able to punch through Immortal, ripping him in half, cutting his head off with his bare hand, or even with Brag's kids. He was able to splatter several kids with each punch he threw. Both the Immortal and those half Viltrumites have some great durability feats. Nolan is still leagues above them. Then there's also the time where Omni-Man claimed they managed to stop an asteroid the size of Texas. Just think about that for a second. An asteroid the size of Texas. That's a planet-destroying extinction level event right there. That would be about 7 billion metric tons of meteor he had to stop, not even taking into account acceleration or anything like that. That lines up with what Nolan has done in the comics, where him, Mark, and Thaddeus teamed up to destroy the planet Viltrum, a planet that's roughly twice the size of Earth. Now, sure, that's 2 other Viltrumites helping him there, and Space Racer shot the planet with his gun in order to destabilize the core. But still, that's a multi-continental feat at least. Omni-Man is seriously powerful. In fact, Omni-Man is arguably one of the strongest Viltrumites you're ever gonna see. He's a trusted officer who was given the duty to conquer a planet all by himself. And true, old, accomplished Viltrumites like that are in a tier all their own. Like Conquest, we can casually bust out of solid 400-ton solid steel blocks encasing all around his body, as well as 6 miles of earth caving in on top of him. Omni-Man is still more powerful. In fact, the only Viltrumite we ever saw definitively prove he was stronger than Omni-Man was Thrag, and he did it pretty definitively. And that actually leads us into our next point: durability. And again, it's something that Viltrumites are great at, and Omni-Man is one of the best of all of them. He's been pretty much unaffected by any attacks from Immortal. He was unaffected by any of the attacks from Invincible during their first fight too. And in fact, Omni-Man has regularly been able to take attacks from all sorts of different Viltrumites and not really gone down or been all that injured. He's actually so tough that, like we said, even other Viltrumites legit just splatter against him on impact. He's taken massive nuclear lasers and survived it completely unscathed, even taking nukes at point blank range, not even being slowed down. Now all this isn't to say that Omni-Man can't be damaged. He can, and he's taken some absolutely devastating attacks in the past. He's been beaten up by several Viltrumites as they double, triple teamed him. And in pretty much every fight that he's ever had with Thrag, well, he usually ends up nearly on the brink of death. The first fight, well, he ultimately got overpowered and was straight disemboweled when Thrag punched his hand through Omni-Man's body. Omni-Man still survived. Another fight, well, Thrag beat Omni-Man so bad that his eye straight up popped out of his skull. Still survived. He went against Thrag a third time too. It was nearly torn in half. Still managed to keep himself alive. So basically, Nolan has an incredibly impressive healing factor and can survive almost any injury. But two, well, it takes a whole heck of a lot to actually injure him or put him down. Just because Omni-Man can take nearly any attack or any injury and just refuses to go down or be killed. His durability is just simply off the charts. And pretty much any injury he does take, well, he can heal from it. The only way that Omni-Man can actually be completely put down is by damaging his heart enough where his heart can't help with the healing and repair. But everything outside of that, and I mean everything, Nolan is gonna survive it. Then even simply with speed, Omni-Man, like all other Viltrumites, has the ability to move well above the speed of light. He was able to slaughter all the Guardians of the Globe in just moments, despite having a super speedster of their own in Red Rush. In the comics, Omni-Man put down the Guardians even faster. They didn't even have the chance to react to his attacks. He's well faster than Invincible during their first fight. Invincible is legitimately moving in slow motion, and he's well faster than other Viltrumites too. Then even just simply flying around, Nolan is much faster than the speed of light. When he left Earth, he decided to travel to another planet with life, and that journey took him about a week. But not just any planet, but a planet in the Virgo supercluster, which is 65 million light years away from the Earth. He traveled that span in just about a week, making him massively, massively faster than the speed of light. No questions asked. And all these powers, his strength, his speed, even his durability, is best put on display when Omni-Man decided to completely and utterly destroy the Flaxen Empire. And I do mean completely destroy it. He flew through a continent-sized city fast enough to where he was literally causing nuclear-level destruction as he flew around. Basically, how that works is that as he reached light speed, or even just under the speed of light, Nolan was hitting molecules and atoms in the air with so much speed and force that it's causing nuclear fusion, leveling continent-sized cities and sending the entire planet back to the Stone Age. He just kept 3 of them alive in order to send him back, and then killed them too. In short, whether it's in the show or the comics, Omni-Man has just been able to consistently prove that he's not only the most powerful being on Earth, but he's just regularly proven himself to be one of the most powerful Viltrumites as well. Bardock is a Saiyan warrior and the father of Goku and Raditz. He leads his own squad out into battle. They're very successful in every fight they're in. And while a loyal warrior, there is still a shred of humanity inside of Bardock. He fought against his boss Frieza after discovering his plans to annihilate the Saiyan race. And while Bardock lost that fight, he did die at peace, seeing a vision of his son Goku beating Frieza in the future. Now, Bardock is a little bit confusing because there are technically two different versions of the character that exist. So we'll just be using both the original Z version of Bardock and the Dragon Ball Super version of Bardock combined. Now, being a Saiyan, Bardock's way stronger, way tougher, and way faster than pretty much anyone else in the universe. And all that power is actually only increased by his massive potential. Because all Saiyans are able to grow in strength and power whenever they fight, always rising to the occasion and overcoming any obstacle in their way. And when a Saiyan is on the verge of death, well, that power evolution gets even faster, causing them to gain what's called a Zenkai boost. And we see this with Bardock. He was able to fight against gas and was evolving and getting more powerful mid-fight, going from being pushed around and beaten at the start of the fight, then crushing gas and winning the fight by the end. And Bardock is definitely a powerful and ferocious fighter. He's fought against Frieza's soldiers before and was snapping necks, crushing skulls, just powering straight through them. Bardock is definitely a killer. Bardock is superhumanly fast. Fast enough to instantly vanish from sight, fly around in a flash, and easily dodge blaster fire. He's also superhumanly tough. He can take attacks from all sorts of Frieza soldiers, tanked attacks from Gas and Midoriya. Bardock has survived a whole lot of powerful attacks before. And then there's Bardock's ki power. Ki is the natural life force energy within all living beings. It's basically like the Force from Star Wars, but in Dragon Ball. And while ki has a whole lot of different uses, it's primarily used as just a tool for combat. Nearly all Saiyan warriors are capable of weaponizing it and throwing their ki power around, and Bardock is no exception. Bardock can use his ki to fly around, increase his physical abilities, and fire out ki energy in a whole lot of different ways, like Explosive Blast, an omnidirectional energy wave, or even a surprise energy beam straight from his mouth. And then Bardock is a Saiyan, meaning that he can evolve into different forms and power-ups as the fight goes on. Like Bardock can transform into his Great Ape form. While it's primarily only done under a full moon, it causes Bardock to transform into a giant King Kong gorilla and apply a 10 times multiplier to all of his stats. Then of course, Bardock can transform into a Super Saiyan. Bardock gained this form when he fought against Chilled, and the Super Saiyan is a massive stat increase. Bardock is able to grow over 50 times as powerful as he was before. This form is what Frieza truly feared, and why he tried to destroy Bardock and the Saiyan race. It's that powerful. So, who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, these two alien warriors are seriously powerful, like seriously powerful. Massively strong, incredibly fast, and ridiculously tough. Like for Omni-Man, well, there have been a few multi-continental to even planetary feats for him. Like he's resisted the pull of a black hole before. His son Invincible was able to smash a moon into Mars' surface, which Omni-Man should definitely scale to. Then his best feat obviously helping to 3-shot the entire planet of Viltrum, which is bigger and heavier than Earth. Of course, there are a lot of caveats that go in with that. Like it took 2 other Viltrumites to do it, and Space Racer had to shoot the planet with his gun in order to destabilize the core, or else they wouldn't have been able to do it, and might have been killed in the process. Still though, a very impressive feat, and definitely one of Omni-Man's best. But of course, Bardock has got some impressive feats to his name too. In scales, to a lot of even more impressive feats, including multiple instances of moon busting and planet busting. Bardock has a power level of around 10,000 at the start of Bardock, the father of Goku, which comfortably puts him above pretty much all the Z fighters around the time of the Namek saga. But at that time, well, like both Roshi and Piccolo were capable of blowing up moons, suggesting that Bardock should have no problem doing this either. And despite the fact that Bardock is seen as a low-ranking Saiyan, he's actually one of the more powerful Saiyans out there. He was at 10,000 at the start of the TV special. And that was before gaining several Zenkai boosts throughout. That alone puts him above Saiyans like Nappa or Raditz, and then you add in transformations like the Great Ape or even Super Saiyan. Bardock is definitely above a lot of Saiyans out there. But yet Raditz can level mountains, Nappa can level whole cities, and then there's King Vegeta. And King Vegeta can shake an entire planet just by powering up. He's destroyed multiple planets all by himself, even wiping out 3 planets at once with just a wave of his hand. Basically, with a combination of Bardock's Zenkais, and then if he transformed into Super Saiyan, well, he should be comfortably stronger than Omni-Man. He should also definitely be faster than Omni-Man too. The best that we've seen from Omni-Man is being able to fly across galaxy clusters, possibly even reaching up to billions of times the speed of light. And it's been said before that his travel speed and combat speed is supposedly the exact same, so Omni-Man is stupid fast. The problem for him here is that based upon scaling, well, Bardock has some light speed feats possibly reaching at trillions of times faster than light. Basically, Bardock is both stronger and faster than Omni-Man by a comfortable margin. Now, for as skilled a fighter as Bardock is, Omni-Man absolutely outclasses him here. He has thousands of years of combat experience. He's been trained in multiple different fighting styles. For as good as Bardock is, he's definitely not winning a hand-to-hand fight against Omni-Man unless he can just completely physically overwhelm him. Of course, in Bardock's corner is his ki power. With that, well, Bardock doesn't have to just keep it as a hand-to-hand fight. And it actually makes it a lot harder for Omni-Man to make it a hand-to-hand fight, considering that Bardock can just instantly launch out waves of energy or even shoot a surprise energy blast from his mouth. Bardock's ki manipulation also means he has a massive range advantage over Omni-Man. He can launch Nolan out of the air with an energy wave or unleash an omnidirectional explosion that catches Omni-Man in the blast. Omni-Man is arguably tougher than Bardock. At the very least, he's got way more endurance, and Viltrumites are famous for continuing to fight with all their insides hanging out. But this just gets back to the fact that Bardock is both stronger and faster. With the speed and power that Bardock is hitting him with, well, all Omni-Man's toughness is gonna do is ensure that he can keep the fight up for longer than you'd expect. Basically, even if Omni-Man potentially starts out the fight on the same power level as Bardock, all that's gonna take is one good Zenkai boost for Bardock to be able to toss him around and start clowning on him. Throw in the fact that I think Bardock probably is already more powerful before the fight even begins, plus adding in his ki manipulation and the versatility that comes along with it, and I think Bardock has this one in the bag. Bardock is winning here, and it's not even really close. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.